We got to air it out. Let's air it out. So we got to air it out. Let's air it out. So
how do you say that? Air it out? Air it out?
Air it out.
What's going on, my Air It Out buddies out there? This is Jerome Jones, your humble host, and this is the Air It Out podcast. We are back talking some NFL football. I'm so glad to be here with my guys. I'm going to start off with my guy, Avery Collins. How you doing today, my man?
What up? I'm all right. I'm chilling. You know what I mean? Can't complain at all. Last weekend we had the Change Revival Tour. You know what I'm saying? So that was fire. You know what I'm saying? It was good to be back in church. You know what I'm saying? So I'm chilling, man.
Feel you. And down there we got the coach, Mr. Darren Braxton. How you doing, Darren?
Chilling. You know, just waiting for football to get started, man. Whether it be high school for me with off-season stuff or the actual league. Man, I can't wait, man. I cannot wait.
We can't wait until the season starts. And we got a lot to talk about. We got the Julio Jones situation. We got stadiums opening up. We got draft grades that we still going to do. So I'm super excited to be talking about this today, guys. But we got a lot of people in here right now. And I just want to let you guys know that we are a live podcast where we take questions. We take any comments that you have. So if you have a comment while we're going on, please put those comments in here as soon as you can. And also, especially if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. That only helps us out. We really do appreciate it. We talk football all the time. We got a lot of football content on there. So when you can, please hit the like button. And if you're not on YouTube, go over to YouTube and do that for me, please. Appreciate it. But let's get into the top news because my man Julio Jones is talking this week, and we want to talk about it. So let's talk about the Julio Jones saga. It continues. Now, if you guys haven't heard, the whole thing on Disputed where Shannon Sharp went on his phone, called Julio Jones like, yo, do you want to be a Falcon? He said, nah, I don't want to be there. Do you want to be a Cowboy? I'm not going there. Raised a lot of questions. I'm going to want to start with the Julio. We're going to start with the Julio part first, and then we're going to talk about the show situation at this thing too. But Avery, this is a guy that's been on your team for the last, I think, 8 years. How do you feel about the situation that he said he's not coming back to the Falcons? And do you think that he really will be out of town?
I think it really just depends on what the organization plans on doing, right? I think it's a situation where he clearly, doesn't want to be there. And I've always been of the mindset, as much as I love Julio, I don't want anybody on my team that doesn't want to be there. So if he doesn't want to be there, get him out of there. I mean, it's about as simple as that. I mean, I know Julio's the type of guy where if they don't find a suitable trading partner, then he's still going to play in Atlanta and give 110% because that's the type of Julio, type of football Julio is. But I think it's a situation where I think they're going to respect him enough to try to make sure that he does go to a contender because he said he wants to win. I think it's a situation where but in the same breath, they're going to want something in return, right? They're asking for a first-round draft pick. And I'm not mad at that. Again, DeAndre Hopkins got traded for, Stephon Diggs. Granted, they're younger, less injury history and all those different things. But literally since he's been in the league, it's been Julio and somebody else. Every year it's like when we're asking the question, who's the best receiver in the league? It's Julio and it's always – so to me – he's been the best receiver, for some time now. So I think it's a situation where you can definitely get some. And again, 32 is still relatively young. He could still play some football. Obviously, we all can see that. But yeah, I mean, if he doesn't want to be there, then make sure that you get him out of there. Now, I'm of the breath. Obviously, you don't want to, trade him to, as much as possible, you don't want to trade him inside the NFC. But at the same time, if you can get value for him, then you got to do what you got to do. I mean, especially with the cap situation, and then especially with how everything kind of went down. He's saying, "Oh no, I'm out of there." Like, okay, well, if you don't want to be here, I mean, the reports are saying that the Falcons were obviously blindsided by that, and they felt like it put a strain on their leverage when it comes to negotiations and talking with them. Ultimately, he said that he wants to win now. Now, I'm going to be honest. I think he can win now in Atlanta, right? With the addition of Kyle Pitts, you're going to be threatening a lot of defenses. Our defense is going into the second year with a lot of young players, but it's a situation where if you keep putting up points, you're going to be putting a lot of pressure on teams to keep up with you, right? And we saw that happen with the Chiefs when they won the Super Bowl. Their defense throughout the year wasn't great, but you couldn't stop them from scoring. And so I think it's a situation where, if he wants to win, but at the same time, if he does leave, there's only 3 teams that I would like to see him go to: Baltimore, the Bengals, or the and I'm low key kind of a Bengals fan. I don't know why, but I like the Bengals. And then I just had them in my head. Third team I would like them to go the Titans. I would love to see him go play. No, not at all. Go play for the Titans. Team up with, because AJ Brown loves him. That's
my goodness.
And it gives him a chance to win.
If you guys have not seen the AJ Brown post, please go on Twitter, go on Instagram, check that out. It's hilarious. This guy's recruiting skills are top notch. He need to go work with Nick Saban after his football career. Seriously, like his recruitment is dumb crazy. But Darren, 31 other teams heard this news, and I'm pretty sure everybody will start salivating. But some of the rumors are that the Falcons want a first-round pick for him. Do you think he's worth it, and do you want him on your team?
I'll answer this in parts. So first off, for the 31 teams that heard it, everyone, even the Falcons, are like, you know what? I really don't want to pick this. I really don't want to answer this phone because we want Julio. But everyone else has to be at least getting the filler out there. You have to. I know some people just don't have the cap space or don't have the resources, but you got to make that call just to see what the asking price is. And them asking a first rounder for Julio Jones right now in his career, if it's a single late first rounder, I see it happening. I can see it happening. And I can also see it happening a first rounder if enough teams actually go ahead and put a bid in. It will raise the price up, make it a lot better. So, hey, best offer wins at this point. But I understand why the Falcons are doing it. They're too strapped for cash. They have to sign at least their draft class. And if you can get rid of Julio Jones, that's something that not only helps in the immediate future for this season, but the long-term future. And multiple things they got to do. Still got to re-sign a couple more guys. And Calvin Ridley is going to be coming up soon on his wide receiver deal. So, just got to have the money to do everything. Lastly, would I want him on my team? Do you think I don't? Do you really think this was any other answer than a resounding yes? If they're just understand this, I had 5 picks for who I think Jones can go to. The first one is the Ravens. Let's be honest, people. Yes, there might have to be some juggling of the cap space, but I feel as though they can get a great. I feel as though there's a great return that can be done. First, the Ravens would actually give the Falcons their late first round pick because I feel as though this is Super Bowl or bust if we get Jones. So, late first round pick on top of Sammy Watkins. It helps alleviate some of the cap space for you guys. You guys get a first rounder, and we'll even throw in the pick that we got from the Chiefs with the 4th rounder for next year. We get Julio Jones. That's it. It should offset some of the cap to where we have enough cap space to get it. We still give you guys resources, and you still add another weapon to help mitigate the loss of Julio Jones.
Give us Bateman. He's younger. Give us Bateman.
Not happening. Sorry, not happening. That's not happening. I'm sorry. We can try somebody else.
It's not happening. Guys, again, like I said earlier, this is an interactive podcast, so we do have some comments here. So if you don't have your comment here, you can put a comment in here. Facebook user, I'm sorry, I don't have your name right now. I'll get your name in a second. But he says, I wouldn't give up a first round pick. He's 32 and injury prone. I agree with that. What do you guys think about that?
I agree with the 32 injury prone. I'm not sure if I would say injury prone.
I can't.
Lately he has been. The last two.
He's had one down year this year.
Now here's what a lot of people keep saying injury prone. Even when it comes to last year, he was listed on the injury report, but how many games did he miss? Not many, right? Julio doesn't miss. He's listed on the injury report every week. I think that's just to kind of psych out some teams sometimes to see, is he going to play? But typically Julio plays. This past year, this was he was hurt a lot. But I do understand the sentiment and everything like that. I personally, if I was GM, I wouldn't give up a first round pick. Yeah, I wouldn't give a first round pick for Julio, but I can understand why the Falcons are asking for. Again, he's perennially a Pro Bowler. He's been arguably the best receiver of this decade. I mean, obviously they're going to ask for what they can get. I mean, and on top of the fact that, to Darren's point, 31 teams want Julio. We're not talking about, 32 teams want Julio Jones. Let's just call it what it is. Like, there's not a team in the league that's like, we're good. Everybody's sitting there like, hey, can we make this call?
Listen here, the Chiefs will even make that call if they can.
Even with the 32-year-old and being injury prone, every single team is calling the Falcons right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I want to thank Mario Rossetti. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, but thank you for the comment right there. New commenter. So thank you for being in here and checking this out. But I want to change not the complete subject, but I want to change it up a little bit because there've been some. It seemed like a little controversy that Shannon Sharpe called Julio on live TV asking that question, and was Julio aware of what's going on? Because there's reports that the Falcons are PO'd about that situation. I don't know how Julio Jones' team feels about the situation. What do you feel about the situation? I'm gonna start with you, Darren. Do you think that Julio Jones possibly would have known later on, beforehand, or was it something spontaneous by Shannon Sharpe that he just kind of like put information out there? How do you think about this whole situation?
So I watch that show very frequently. I love watching Shannon Sharpe go ahead with Skip. It's one of the funniest things in the mornings you watch, period. Mm-hmm. So I happened to miss this unfortunate episode, but I did watch what happened. I actually feel as though that was the spontaneous thing by Shannon. He's always talking about how he knows different people in the league and everyone calls him uncle. And he felt as though he had that type of relationship where he can call Julio right then and there and he would pick up. He did inform him, which a lot of people are not really saying this. He did inform him, hey, we're live right now on TV. We're live right now. He did say it once. Now, I'm not sure if Julio actually heard it or what was the case, but he did say it once because that was the one thing I definitely was looking forward to hearing. And I did hear it at least one time. Now, should he have asked him that and should Julio have answered it? No. The fact of the matter is you cannot do that just because of the PR that will go ahead with that, especially with Atlanta in the process of trying to trade him. And it's already been rumored that he had put this trade request in months ago. So Atlanta been knew of this, and they've been trying to work behind the scenes to get a trade going and get the best possible result. But now everyone knows that Julio actually wanted out and Ben wanted out. It's going to drop the price right there for him. Not too many teams will still put up as much as they are. That can be the case for why they're thinking.
Avery, you seem like you disagree with a lot of statements that Darren is saying. I want to hear what you think.
I disagree a lot. I'm going to start backwards. It's not going to drop the price. Just because he wants to just because Julio wants to leave, the Falcons they don't have to trade him. He's under contract. They do not have to trade Julio. They can trade him for the price that they want. And if they don't get the price that they want, he's under contract. Now he can hold out. He can do all those things, but he's still under contract and he won't get paid. That's his choice. But to say that the price is going to drop, absolutely not. Because like I said, 31 teams are calling the Falcons right now, wanting Julio Jones. So it's not going to drop the price. It's just going to up the ante of how quickly it gets done. It's how eager teams are going to be, but absolutely not doesn't drop the price. And then as far as you saying, he did say it once. He said it after he already exposed Julio. We're not talking about he's like, hey, bro, we're live on the air. Let me ask you something. He didn't do that. Yo, hey Julio, what's up, bro? Thank you for calling me back. Yo, are you trying to be in Atlanta? Now, if you're Julio Jones, right? Because some people are saying, oh, Julio knows what time his show comes on. He should have known that he was on there. Okay, if you're Julio Jones, and I've watched the show, and I know that his show is on, and I've never seen Shannon Sharp get on the phone once, what does that tell me? He doesn't get on the phone when he's at work. So if he's calling me, he's not at work, clearly. So when I pick up the phone, I'm thinking I'm having a casual conversation with Unc, and then I get exposed at the end. Oh, yeah, we live on it. And he said it real quick. He said it briefly. He didn't even say it like, yeah, we like, I just want to let you know we're live on the air, and you just said what you said. No, yeah, oh, yeah, you live on the air. Like, no, that was extremely unprofessional. And to me, I would have been pissed if I was a Falcons front office person as well. Now, granted, as a fan, I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't care because, again, if you don't want to be there, whatever. But as a front office person, I'd be pissed. If I was Julio, I'd be pissed. If I was his PR and his agent, I'd be pissed. So yeah, it was handled distastefully. But I will say this: I don't think Shannon Sharp meant any harm. I don't think there was anything that he did that he was like trying to be coercing or anything. Like, I think he legitimately, again, him and Julio legitimately have a relationship. I think he was just calling him, shooting the breeze. He should have just been mindful. Hey, before I even ask this question, let me let you know, yo, we're on the air live right now. So before you speak, let me ask you a question. Now, granted, he is still a reporter, so he's potentially trying to use that the sway and the relationship that he has to get an insider, because that's insider information right there, and nobody else can say they broke the story first. So it could have been a situation like that. But, and like I said, if that's the case, it was distasteful. But outside of that, it is what it is. Yeah,
I kind of go back and forth for this whole thing because Jenny Traff, the host of Disputed, she said multiple times to Shannon, make sure you let him know he's on TV. Make sure you let him know on TV. So that makes me think that Shannon didn't say it at first or say it at all until that point. And I didn't hear it either. But it's kind of hard because I know Shannon Sharp as far as watching him on TV and how he talks. He looks really highly of the players. And, he's not like – he is an analyst, but he don't act as an analyst when he's up there. Or reporter rather. It just seems kind of weird that happened. And in a way, I kind of feel like maybe he told Julio beforehand, like, hey, I might call you if you're on the air. Maybe that was something that happened off screen. But I'm so back and forth with it because it didn't seem like that either. Like y'all said.
Again, if he told him that beforehand, he wouldn't have had to say it at the end. He would have known. It'd have been like, okay, so if he said, hey, bro, I'm live on the air, call me back. Julio would have picked the phone and known he was live on the air. He would not have to have said, yo, by the way, we're live. Yeah. But he got the information and then said, oh, by the way, we're on the air. So Julio wasn't aware that he was live on the air.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So it is what it is. I don't know. We'll see what happens with him in the upcoming weeks, and hopefully, that don't be a huge issue for either Shannon or Julio Jones, and maybe.
Now I'll say this: even though he was live on there, he probably didn't care. I mean, Julio could. I think that's another thing people.
I can see that too.
There's a misconception about Julio too. Like, he's still human. Like. Yes, he's a very humble football player. He's somebody who doesn't cause controversy. But Julio, when he fed up, he probably like, man, I don't care. I really don't.
Definitely. And we're gonna
what he said.
Yeah. So one controversy to maybe another one with, I think it was 30 stadiums across the country will have full capacity this season. Straight out the bat, no easing into it, just straight out the bat, full capacity. I want to know what you guys feel about this because this is a huge topic. Obviously we all know the situation with the world, with COVID and everything like that, and everything that's people getting sick. Cases been going down as far as I know, at least. I want to know what you guys feel about just going straight out the gate, like, hey, let's do this. Avery, I'm gonna start with you. Should we have full capacity right off the gate? Well, not all, but most.
It's tough. I'm torn because it's like,
Chris?
With everything going on, like I said, I wouldn't be mad at Julio to Tennessee. I would not be mad at that. But yeah, I think it's a situation where I'm torn, man. It's like, and on the one hand, obviously we know the seriousness of COVID-19. We understand that people have lost their lives, lost loved ones, have had health complications, all of these different things. And so that's understood, and we don't want to neglect or undersell or overlook that. So there's that on one hand, but then on the other hand, it's a situation where you got the CDC saying, well, if you're vaccinated, you can take your mask off now. And they even prior to that, a couple months ago, even in New Jersey, they allowed 50% capacity at most places, like churches and stadiums and different things like that. So a lot of this stuff has gotten me torn. I think
Chris. yes, Chris. Yes.
I think it's a situation where with the vaccines and everything like that, and if the numbers continue to drop, people are going to do it. And at the end of the day, it's a situation. I talked about this before. I can't remember the reporter who said it or the doctor who said it. But I agree with this, but I believe there needs to be caution and wisdom used. Mm-hmm. But he said at some point, COVID's not going anywhere. We have to learn to live with it. It's not going anywhere. So it's a situation where it's just like either we really try to stop the curve and really shut things down and really try to get rid of this thing, or we learn to live with COVID. I think they've chosen to do the latter and say, okay, listen, we got a vaccine, we got this, open it back up, get the money. It's because it's a money game. It's all about the money game. So yeah, get all the money that we can. So
definitely. Darren, how you feel about the situation?
I'm really torn, more so because even with the vaccine and all the precautions that they've been taking up recently, there's still cases going on. There's still people getting new cases every single day, and that's because you got people out here that has never put their mask on. There's still people that's not vaccinated. There's still people that's not taking this issue seriously. So for them to say that it's full capacity in them stadiums, you're putting a whole lot of people at risk there. I understand, yes, you have to wear a mask, but it's very easy to take it off when no one's looking. One thing I really think would be better if they wanted to open up full capacity, you have to be fully vaccinated and bring it in with valid ID or something. Something to where the people feel some type of security of, hey, we've done what we need to do to make sure everyone in here is safe and we're doing this the proper way. Something along those lines, or at least have it more secure to where people can't just sit there and take their mask off. You got to think about people's health and safety at this point, because then it's not only just the people there, but it's the players as well. Because you have the players still going ahead and wearing masks and things like that. And they have to be fully vaccinated to have their mask off. So if you're asking to have your players, you have to still kind of ask to have the fans as well. You have to take care of everyone.
So as far as the vaccinations and everything like that, I don't think legally anybody can ask you to show verification that you've been vaccinated, because I believe that currently, that's a violation of HIPAA law. Right now, is there a possibility that they end up changing the law for this? Of course, we've seen much more egregious things happen, but I believe currently it is a violation of HIPAA law to ask somebody for their medical. It's essentially asking for a medical record, right? And that's a violation of HIPAA law. And so I don't think that they can require people to show documentation that they've been vaccinated. I don't even think that they can require people to be vaccinated at this point. So I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but we'll see. I agree that there definitely needs to be some safeguards in place. and all those things. But like I said, at this point, we're packed in airports, we're packed on planes, but then they want us to socially distance when we get off the plane. Doesn't make any sense, right? A lot of this stuff doesn't make any sense. The way we've handled this in America has not made sense at all. So this happening, vaccine that took 3 months to create, everybody get it, and if you got it, then full capacity. It doesn't. None of this makes sense. What makes sense is they're doing this for the money, as they typically always do. But
and just to put this out there, they are saying the cap is supposed to go up by almost $30 million this upcoming season. Just saying, just putting that out there.
People can fake vaccination,
and that's why I was thinking more of a health professional being able to check it to fully see if it's properly done right. And that's what I mean. And that's why I said it's just an option out there. But my main concern is just having safeguards in place to where if the players, and you're going to take care of the players like that, you have to take care of your fans. So the fans are the ones that's paying the money to help you guys do everything you're trying to do right now. So
then the question becomes, can you deny somebody entry because of a medical, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know the whole law.
Yeah, then it becomes about personal belief and different things, and their religion might not let them do it. It's so many different variables with it. But like I said, it's just options that they have at their disposal.
Or what about the people who health-wise just cannot get the vaccine? Right?
Yeah.
Like, they literally cannot because of health concerns. Are you going to say that? So it's so many.
A lot of gray area.
It's a lot of gray.
Gray area. I will say this. I always come from the mindset of being as cautious as possible if you can. But with COVID being over a year at this point, I'm like thinking about the people that didn't get paid last year, and these are I'm not even talking about the I'm not even talking about the players. I'm not talking about the coaches. I'm not talking about the office people. I'm talking about the people that work in the stadiums. I'm talking about the people that work in the Eagles Pro Shop. I worked there before. I know people that have been there before that, doing double shift, working in the pro shop, for like 4 hours, and then going to the stadium and working for the stadium, trying to get paid that kind of way. I'm thinking about those guys, and there was a lot of people that couldn't do that last year and was struggling last year and things like that. I think it's time that we need to get back to normalcy. It sucks. It's going to be scary. And like I said, I'm very cautious of, health and things like that, especially to a stream like this. I always go toward the cautionary way. But I think that like Avery said, eventually we're going to have to make this a normal thing, do our best to stay as healthy as possible. But at the same time, we got to start doing our normal thing. And, not just with the stadiums, but like everything in America in general, we're going to have to start being safe. Now, I do believe that we need to continue to wear masks and, continue to wash our hands and sanitize and stuff like that. Don't be crazy and be doing that. And that's a whole nother conversation with the mask thing. But I just think that, we just still need to be cautious, but also like get back to normalcy. Like, it's been over a year now. We got to do something now. You know what I'm saying? So to segue from that, I don't know how to, but we're just going to do it. So we're going to talk about the AFC South draft grades now. Now, that will include, and I'm trying to get to it. There we go. That's going to include the Texans, the Colts, the Titans, and who I missed?
Jags.
Jaguars. So Darren, I'm gonna start with you on this one. Give me your AFC South grade. Who got the best grades? Who won the draft in that division, that conference?
So they actually had some pretty good drafts. For the most part, all of them did pretty well. There wasn't nothing super crazy, other than kind of the Jags. But for the most part, they all were very solid. So I'm actually start with the Texans, who most likely will still have the worst record in that division. Texans got Mills, got Collins, and got Brevin Jordan with their first 2 picks in the 3rd round. And for them not to have a 1st and 2nd round draft pick, that was actually pretty good for them. So I gave the Texans actually a B, so B plus. They hit on just basic solid picks for them throughout the draft. And I think the other 2 guys that they got were pretty good development players. So I wouldn't give them more than honestly a B. B plus is a little high, but I do think they hit it solid out the park with the main things they need to get. The Colts, I like Pay. I like what he pay. I feel like he's a great addition to that defense, allowing them to possibly take another step. I do like also Etlinger, Sam Etlinger, the quarterback from I believe Texas. Him going there as a developmental prospect at quarterback. That's not a bad choice, especially with Frank Reich there. I think their 2nd round pick and Granson in the 4th round was not bad either. So I gave the Colts a B minus. Nothing special, but they hit on certain things they didn't need it. The Titans, I feel as though they had a very good draft. I gave them a B plus, and only because they hit on a lot of guys that are key positions for them of need, and I feel like a lot of them will be able to step in and play soon. Caleb Farley, if he's healthy, he's going to be a solid number 1 guy in this league. That was a great steal at, I believe, 21 for them. So I was really high on that guy there. Rondez, the tackle from North Dakota State, I feel like he can definitely come in and be in that 6th or 7th tackle alpha block and really do well when he comes to step in. And I really like Fitzpatrick from Louisville. I feel like a big guy like him, 6'3", I believe it's 212. He has a good catch radius, and he can help with, giving some more room to A.J. Brown possibly. They have a couple more guys and Josh Reynolds. So they need to revamp that wide receiving core a little bit. Oh, Jaguars. Last one. Sorry. They got an A. They got an A flat out. They got Trevor Lawrence, people. That was the pick right there, the number 1 guy, the guy that's supposed to revitalize this franchise and truly put them on the map again. I was a little bit surprised with Etienne at 25. I feel like they should have went more for another defensive player that they could have get a stalwart possibly, or possible number 1 wide receiver. Another one to add to that plethora they had, but something other than Etienne where they had James Robinson. I feel like that was a little weird. But getting Tyson Campbell, that was nice. That was nice in the 2nd round. Then getting Little after that, and getting a lot of developmental players that's going to be solid for years to come on a young team was great. So, Jags got an A for me.
All right, Avery, what do you think?
That was actually pretty solid. I mean, I'm actually right around the same thing. The only thing I disagree with is the I believe it was the Texans. I gave them I gave them a B minus, C plus, leaning more towards C plus than anything. Just because obviously, not having the 1st and the 2nd round pick hurts. They tried to, make the best of their draft, and I think they did, for the most part. But again, nothing that made me think they're going to be that much better this year, right? A lot of the players that they got are developmental. Some can step in and play right away. I think Nico Collins will come in and play right away. I think Brevin Jordan can potentially come in and play right away, but we'll see.
Him as a 2nd tight end.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it happening. And then honestly, Ryan Lopez, I think Ryan Lopez will get in the rotation a lot quicker than people think. But again, this is all speculation there. So I'm going to go with a C plus. Yeah, I think I'm give that the final C plus. Then I'm going to go to I'll go to the Colts. And I agree, B minus, right? I think we're right in the same vein there. I like Kwity Paye, like you said. I think he's going to be a really good player. Sam Ehlinger, that one kind of surprised me, but getting that in the 6th round was excellent, right? You didn't have to get him, too soon. And to Darren's point, he's got tools, right? And he's coming from a decent program. Texas looked as if they are starting to come back onto the climb. They've shown some spark in some different things, different areas. But and I think he was a part of that. So if they can develop him to be a good player for them in the future, then yeah, it was definitely a potential steal there. Then the Titans, again, solid B. A situation where they did to B to B plus. I think to Darren's point, like they hit on a lot of key areas of need. Like you said, Caleb Farley, if he's healthy, can easily potentially vault himself into a top 10 corner pretty quickly. He's got the skill set to do so. I think another one is Elijah Molden. I don't think people will understand. That was a pretty solid pick there from Washington. I think that he can potentially work himself into a role of, I can't remember the name, I think it's Davis, who is the number 2 corner on the Rams, opposite of
Sean Davis. No, not Sean Davis. Sean Davis on the Pittsburgh.
But
I know what you're talking about.
But I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. I think he's like 32 or 33 or something like that. I think he can work himself into that type of role where he's like maybe not the number 1, but because he's not the number 1, people challenge him a lot, and because they challenge him a lot, he's showing like, no, I can play this game. Like I'm maybe not the number 1, but don't throw over here either type of situation. So I think he can potentially work his way into that type of player. I'm still, doing some film study on Rashad Weaver, but I'm starting to like what I see from the guy. I think he could be a solid player, and obviously getting an offensive tackle is definitely something that is beneficial for them, especially because they're a run first team. Having Derrick Henry, all of those different things. I think I'm going to lean on him a little more depending on what happens with receiver wise. Obviously, losing Corey Davis is a blow, but you still get A.J. Brown. But they might lean on the run game a little more until they can see somebody kind of produce themselves as the dominant number 2 guy. And then the Jags, again, A, not an A plus, not an A minus, just a solid A. Again, you got the number 1 overall pick in Trevor Lawrence, somebody I think he's the highest touted quarterback of all time coming out of college. I think he's lost 2 or 3 games his entire college career. He's a national championship winner. He's a Heisman winner. He's a phenomenal player. He's got all the tools. Underrated when it comes to athleticism. I think the Travis Etienne pick was amazing. I think, pairing him with his guy, right? A guy that he knows, a guy that he's cool with, somebody that he's going to be able to grow with. And they've already said from the jump, he's going to be the third down back, right? So he already knows his role on the team. He's not going to be expected to do much more. Plus, he can actually run between the tackles and do different things like that. So I think that was a good pick. Campbell, again, I think is an underrated corner in this draft. I don't think he's the number 1 corner in this draft or even one of the top 5 corners in this draft, but I do believe he's an underrated, overlooked corner in waves. And I think he's going to be a solid player. Do I ever think he's going to be a top 5 or a top 10? No, but I could see top 20 to 25 corner in the league, and there's a lot of corners in this league, so that is saying something. So I think they did a pretty really good job, and then I actually like them getting Jordan Smith from UAB. I like Jordan Smith. I think that's going to be a pretty good player. I don't know, again, if he will be a starter, but I think he's going to be a splash player. Somebody who's like, he just shows up on film, you're like, oh, that was Jordan. He did that. Oh, and he's just going to constantly open your eyes like, oh, yeah, that he's just an energy type guy or a guy that's just going to, come in and just make his presence known. So I think they did a pretty good job with their draft.
All right, I like it. All right, I'm going to start with the Texans. I want to say this right now that a lot of people I was hearing, the Texans draft wasn't good. I'm going to give them a solid B, maybe B minus, simply because they did the most with what they had. They only had five picks. Davis Mills was a perfect pick. I think people overanalyze it. They got Deshaun Watson. What are they going to do? Are they saying Deshaun Watson's out? No, he's a third-round quarterback. He's a developmental quarterback. He didn't have a lot of playing experience, but he was a 5-star recruit. he has a lot of upside. You can definitely use him. I'm always going to be high on Nico Collins. I thought he should have been in the second round. They got him in the third round. I think that was really good value right there in there. Michigan guy, go blue. Then Bravion Jordan was such a good player. I think that Hunter Long went to the Miami Dolphins. I thought the Dolphins probably could have got Jordan instead. Ray kind of showed me why it might not have been as good of a pick as Long, but I thought Bravion Jordan could have went in like the third or fourth round. They got him in the fifth round. So I love their picks. Garrett Wallow is a solid linebacker, and Roy Lopez, another solid defensive tackle. So I think they're good with that. I don't see where everybody's talking about they had a bad draft. They didn't have a first or second round pick. What you expect them to do? What you want them to do? So that's that on that. Next, I'm gonna go to the Colts. No, I'm gonna go to the Jags. I'm gonna talk about the Jags. Jags, obviously, they're gonna get. For me, I'm gonna say A minus. A minus. I want to give them too much praise because they had the first overall pick. You all knew it was gonna be Trevor Lawrence, man. I don't know. And it's funny that Trevor Lawrence actually had them calling him a couple of times during the draft, which was funny. I don't know if y'all heard that news, but they had. he was like, "I'm coming to y'all. Give me a second, though. I'm celebrating with my family real quick. Give me a second. Y'all can hold. Y'all can wait a couple more seconds. let me celebrate with my family." So I thought that was hilarious. But don't get in Travis Etienne in the second round. I mean, the first round pick. I thought that was a really good pick. I thought there was other players that could have got there, but Travis Etienne was a good player. I had him late first, early second anyway. I'm just hoping that Urban Meyers don't screw him up because I personally think that Travis Etienne was starting to have some fumble issues in his last season, and he's trying to play him as a wide receiver. I'm like, bro, let him run, let him be a running back. Why are you paying him at wide receiver? He need to learn how to hold that ball. So I thought that was strange. So hopefully that don't mess him up. Did you hear that?
I mean, I heard it, but at the same time, it would make more sense because if he's playing wide receiver, wide receivers statistically fumble less than running backs because you're trying to get the wide receiver on the ground before he gets his legs going. Because if he gets going, typically wide receivers he's gone, right? So they're not typically, unless you're Marlon Humphreys, they're not punching at the ball like they are running backs when they go through the hole. Exactly. And everybody's punching at the football.
Exactly. There's more traffic as a running back.
So as a receiver, less likelihood of him probably fumbling. So I can understand it. But I agree with you. He's a running back.
James Robinson to be that inside the tackle guy to get the tough yards and things like that.
Yeah, but
he was a revelation last year. That was what? Top of fifth last year in rushing for the whole league.
But then you'll have to put both of them in the game because if you do that, then you're tipping your hat to the defense. Like, oh, Robinson's in the game, they're most likely going to run. Oh, ETN's in the game, they're most likely going to pass.
Not necessarily. Robinson can touch the ball at the backfield and run between the tackles. So it's not where you're coming from. But I personally, I agree with you. He's a running back. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see.
We'll definitely see. They got Walker Little in the second round and Tyus Campbell. I talked about Tyus Campbell already. I think he's definitely going to be a solid corner. Get him with the first pick in the second round. A little rich to me, but if they love the guy and he's there, you grab him. I always had that philosophy. Okay.
Did y'all see back to the Jags? Did y'all see the pics of Tebow? Tebow been in the gym, okay? That's all I'm saying. Tebow been in the gym. I'm not saying he's gonna be a great tight end. I'm just saying Tebow been in the gym. He been moving some iron. That's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is they put Tim Tebow in the Taysom Hill role. I don't like it. Don't do that to Lawrence. Let him play quarterback.
I mean, I like it. Hey, I mean, when you say Taysom Hill to me, I'm not thinking straight quarterback right away. I'm thinking special teams. I'm thinking, running the ball, catching the ball, all that. I'm not even thinking quarterback first. So if you're gonna put him in that role, make him do what Taysom Hill does, which is special teams, running, catching the ball, trick plays, put him in there as a decoy. that kind of stuff. So I'm okay with that. I just don't know how I feel about him being a full-time tight end. I think that's weird. But if there is a team that could make him a tight end, it's the Jags, because their tight end group is not that strong. I will say that.
Non-existent, people.
We'll say.
Sorry.
But anyway, one last pick I wanted to mention is the Andre Cisco pick in the 3rd round. That was a phenomenal pick. I love that pick. That was one of my favorite picks of this draft. Like we already knew ETN was gonna. Lawrence was gonna be on the Jaguars. ETN was a luxury pick they could have got. They got, but I think Andre Cisco is gonna be a starter right away, or at least a contributor right away. And I think they're gonna love him. He's a great athlete. So let's get to our next pick real quick, and that will be the Colts, I believe. Yeah. So we're gonna go to the Colts. Now the Colts had a good draft. I'm gonna give them a B, simply because Quiddy Pay, my man. Go Blue. Let's say less. No, seriously. I thought they picked him in a pretty good spot. It's around the area that I thought he could have got drafted. Quiddy Pay is one of those edge rushers that you can really do good with. They got another edge rusher, Deo Odeyingbo. I always can't say that name right. I'm in the 2nd round. I wasn't high on him as a 2nd rounder, but it was a solid pick. I mean, it's okay. I hated the Sam Ellinger pick. I know you said, well, he's a 6th round pick, and I get that too. I hated that because you know why? He reminds me of Tim Tebow. I feel like I watched every Texas game this last season. He is Tim Tebow. He's so inconsistent.
Don't you dare disrespect Timothy Eugene Tebow. I don't even know if Eugene is his middle name. Don't you dare disrespect that man.
Listen.
He was arguably top 5 college player ever.
Oh, I'm not talking college, but I'm talking NFL wise.
Okay, he won a playoff game against the Steelers. Don't you dare disrespect Timothy Eugene Percival Tebow.
You do realize Tebow is playing tight end, right?
Is he in the league? Oh, all right.
You realize he's playing tight end. There's a reason why he's playing tight end right now.
About
that quarterback.
That guy, watch. You see that tight end screen, that flare screen, and he throw that thing deep. I'm just saying, watch. Just wait for it.
No disrespect to Tebow. He was a great college player. I'm talking about as an NFL prospect to an NFL player wise. Sam Ellinger is Tim Tebow.
The other difference
almost to the T. I think he might be a little bit faster, but that's it.
The other difference is he's not coming in expected to play or even anytime soon. So he's that's why we said, okay, 6th round, you clearly are going to develop this guy, right? Like Tim Tebow was drafted high. Right? Listen, okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what his middle name is. Eugene just seemed to fit at that moment. Okay, you know.
Darren, is that your fiance? Darren, is that your fiance? That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Wifey said Eugene.
yes, Eugene.
Yeah, I don't know what that.
I'm gonna Google it.
But yeah, so I was not a fan of the pick. I get what you're saying, Avery. Though he's not coming in to be expected, but they did get just get the quarterback last year as well. So Sam Ellinger is going to be their 3rd quarterback on that team, if he even stays on that team. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. And then last but not least, I got the Titans here, and they have Richard
Tebow.
Wow. Wow. All right. Let's get to the Titans. Caleb Farley, I love that pick. They are stacking up in that cornerback room. I love Felton from last year. I thought he was going to be the starter. They got Caleb Farley there. Now they can bring Caleb Farley whenever he's ready to play. If he don't become the number one, they got a good slot guy, or they can pick Fuller there. I think Fuller is going to be a starter at some point. If it's not for the Titans, somebody, I think he's going to be a starter. So I think they got a good cornerback room now, especially after losing UNC corner. Somebody help me. No?
Sorry, Dory Jackson.
Dory Jackson. There you go. Dory Jackson. After losing him to the Giants, I think that was a good replacement. Hopefully he stays healthy. A little rich at number one because it is a back injury. That's kind of scary, but we'll see. Dylan Rooms, perfect pick. He could have been a first-round pick. They could have actually flopped those two picks, and I would have thought that I would have given him an even better grade. But I thought that was a great pick. They got Monte Rice, who's a good edge rushing linebacker. Isaiah Moulton, who plays corner, who plays some safety. I think that was a great pick. Yeah. What happened?
Elijah. You said Isaiah.
Elijah Moulton. Des Fitzpatrick, one of my Senior Bowl favorites. Chris Thomas, got to see him live as well. He can attest to this. He was phenomenal at the Senior Bowl. He showed good catch radius. He had enough speed to get down the field. Great hands. He was one of my favorite guys at the Senior Bowl. Rashard Weaver, defensive end at Pitt, a really good rotational guy that they have in there. Got him in the 4th round. And I think I messed up my chart here, but they had a really good draft. I'm gonna give them a B+. I thought that was a really good draft. I think they could have got some other players at some of those spots, but what they got, I thought that was really good. Like I said, they would have flipped Caleb Farley and Ruse. I thought that would have been an even better pick for the value, but I think that was a great job. So, anybody got anything to say about my assessment of those grades?
Yes. Don't ever disrespect Timothy Richard again on this show.
What happened to Eugene?
Oh,
Eugene.
God.
Timothy
Gotta
Richard
keep him as Eugene.
Tebow.
he forced a name on him. He said Timothy Richard Eugene Tebow.
That's it.
That's funny. But that's going to do it for us today, guys. We thank all y'all for being in here for today. We thank all our commenters for being in here. We really do appreciate y'all each and every week. Make sure you check us out next week where we're going to have another list of great NFL topics that you always want to listen to us because we got the juice. We know what we talking about. We going to listen to us, man. We love doing this. We love listening to Avery give people fake names and stuff like that. So this is where you come back for all that. This is where Inside the Hatches, Air It Out podcast. Make sure you check it out every Thursday around 6 o'clock. Any parting words, my guys?
Yes, real fast. Julio to the Dolphins. Dark horse. The cap space, and you pair Jones with now Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki, and Waddle, and that's the weapons that Tua gets to start off with? With the defense?
Not bad. Matt Ryan for president. I'm out.
So, guys, thank you so much for checking us out. Make sure you listen to us on InsideTheHashes.com. Check us out on all our social media, Inside the Hashes, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And check us out on our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You find all our player interviews, all the players that we interviewed before, and we keep pushing out each and every other day. So make sure you do check that out at Inside the Hashes. Guys, thank y'all so much for checking us out. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Definitely be.